All right, the last page of our notes is where we're going to practice some drawings and answer some questions given a diagram. The one hard thing about geometry can be doing three-dimensional work on two-dimensional paper, on a flat paper, trying to draw in 3D. So we want to practice that. We also want to read the words and label things the way they say in the problem. So reading is important, following directions are important. The problems are not necessarily all the same, but they all do fit together if you read carefully. In the first one that we're going to do here, question A, it says sketch each image, labeling with the correct letters and arrows when necessary. So in this problem, we are going to do line T in plane P. So we have to do two things. We have to draw a line and a plane. In this case, we're going to start with the biggest part. So we're going to draw a plane. Remember, that's a big picture. And we want to label it plane P. That's a single letter, and that's a capital letter, so that's a floater. Remember that we're going to put it in the upper corner here. And actually, you can put it in any corner that you like. It doesn't matter which one you put it in. You're just going to put it in a corner. You're not going to put any point by it. And then on that plane, we're going to put line T. Again, lowercase letter, there's only one. So we're going to draw a line, arrows on both sides, and then there's no point by that T, it's just a floater. We're going to put it on the end. We can take that floater and we can put it on either side, it doesn't matter, on either side of that line, and that's a good question. Now we're going to move on to question B. So for question B, we're going to draw a line AB. Notice that you have arrows on the sides, on the top of that, and the plane WXY that intersects at point A. So we have three things that we're going to do here. Again, we're going to start out with the plane WXY. Those 3 points are actually on the plane. That's not a floater, so we're going to draw them here. Remember when you draw the points on your plane that you don't put them in a straight line. They have to make some kind of triangle. And now we're going to put line AB so that it intersects at point A. It has to go through. We don't have point A on there yet, so we're going to put point A on. And now we're going to draw a line. When we draw a three-dimensional line that's going to go through this plane, we're going to draw the top half. And then we're going to put dotted lines here because it's behind the plane. And then, whoop, it peeks out the back side. There is our line. We have to label it line AB. So somewhere on that line, we need to put point B. You can put point B up high, or we can take point B and we can put it down low. Doesn't matter, it just needs to be somewhere on that blue line. All right, let's try questions C and D. For question C, we're going to start out with WX. Notice that we have arrows on the two sides, so that's a line, WX, and plane A. And they do not intersect. So this is a little bit tricky. If I draw my plane up here, I have to draw plane A label. I have to draw line WX so that it does not intersect that. Now a natural place would be to put it lower or on the bottom. And so to make them separate, I'm just going to turn this into a box. I'm going to draw 3 lines down, all the same length. The back one doesn't go quite as far down because it's higher. And now I can put a line on the bottom, and I can label this guy WX. And now it is lower than plane A, which is this plane up on the top. So again, just practice. You might not have thought of that on your own, but there it is. Then the last one, we're going to draw this first one, AB. Notice that it only has an arrow on the right. That makes that a ray, along with a line, CD, and it will intersect at point A. So when we draw our ray, remember that it has to start at the A. So we're going to start it and then draw a line. That has to be A. B is somewhere on our line. And then we're going to draw a line CD, and it has to intersect. That means it has to cross the ray. And where does it cross? It crosses at E. And we have to name that line, and that line is called CD. You could put C on one side, and you could put D on the other side, but you could also put CD right next to each other. They can be flip-flopped in order. It doesn't matter as long as one is on one side and one, as long as they're both on the same line. So the red line is CD and the blue one is ray AB. Then we'll jump down to the last problems. These are problems that deal with this diagram. Notice again that we have a big plane. And then we have two lines. One line is on the plane. So this blue line right here is on the plane. But then we have one line that passes through the plane. And it's a little bit dotted in there because it's behind the plane. So we're going to answer these questions here. We're going to find something that is not coplanar with R, S, and T. So if I'm looking here at R, S, and T, I want to name something that is not on the blue surface. So in this case, we would name that as W. Remember that G is really just a floater. And F is also a floater. And so is V. So those really aren't going to be part of any intersections or points or anything like that. They're just nicknames for our lines and planes. Letter F, it says here that we are going to name 3 points that are collinear. Then name a fourth point that is not collinear with these 3 points. So 3 points in a line, that would be R, Q, and S are all on the blue line. R and Q and S. And then one that is not on that blue line. And that could either be point T or point W. Because neither one of those fall on the blue line. Couple questions left here. Is W coplanar with Q and R? Now, notice that W and Q and R, they make a triangle. So when I look at those, do you see the little triangle that they make right here? It's kind of a trick question. It looks like they're not on a plane, but they actually are. Anytime you can draw a triangle, those points are coplanar. But they are not on a plane that's drawn on this picture. We cannot see it. So that's kind of a trick question. Let's see, what else do we got? Give 2 names for the plane that is shown. So for that plane right there, remember, the easiest way is always use this floater, the nickname. So we have plane V, but we can also use any 3 points that make a triangle, but they have to be on the blue shape. So we're going to call that plane R, Q, and then the third one we pair with that would be T, or we could go Q and S, and with that we would pair T. Any combination of 3 letters doesn't matter as long as they make a triangle. And then our last question, or sorry, one of our last questions here, it says give 3 different names for QS. So if I look at this, notice that QS, it has arrows on both sides. So that's the blue line right here, so we could call it SQ, going in the opposite order. We could use the floater on the side We could call it line F. Or we could pick a different letter. Notice that R is on there. We could call it RS or SR or QR or RQ. Those are all different possible names for that line. Then the next question asks about opposite rays. Opposite rays, remember, have to go one forward and one backward, one up, one down. They have to go in different directions, but they have to start at the same place. So if I look at this, Q is my starting number, and I have two rays that go in opposite directions from Q. I have one that goes to the right, and I have one that goes to the left. If I wanted to go up, that would be good, except I don't have anything that goes down. So we're not going to use those two. We're only going to use the left and the right. We have Q, S going to the right, and QR going to the left. So we're going to go QS and QR. Notice they start with the same letter. That is very important. And then the last question here, it says, which letters do not have any points? Those are the points that we labeled at the very beginning. Those are our floater points. We have 3 of them: lowercase g, lowercase f, and uppercase v. G, F, and capital V. Now you can go to your homework, try that, and we will catch you tomorrow.